Testing, testing. Yo guys, we'll be starting in just a couple of minutes. Just gonna post a link around. Thanks for all being here. Looking very excited to be trading US equities for you guys. I've been planning this for quite a while, so it's nice to actually get stuck into this. And we'll just be day trading US stocks. I'll be showing you how I create my watch list and how I trade them, exactly finding entries, exits. So it'll be a lot of fun. So we'll be starting in a couple of minutes. Good to know, Alex. Good to know. If you've been following any of my other market reviews or videos, my live recordings even, you know, I have a lot of technical issues with doing all this stuff. Most of my videos recently haven't even had a live chat, and I figured it was because I had it as a bit suitable for kids. So apparently you're not allowed to chat, although this is suitable for kids. You know, it's trading, I suppose, but they don't allow the chat if you have the option on, so overreadings only, baby. Yeah, but give it a few minutes and we'll dig in. For anyone joining, we'll be starting in a few minutes. Just hang tight. Just posting the link around, and then we'll get set up and started. Yo, Right, thanks everyone for joining. So this is the US Equities live day trading. I've been waiting to do this for quite a while for you guys, but I was supposed to be doing it live on TradingView, and they had a little problem. Basically, I had to stream off their actual platform, which was here, but it was super laggy and it was pretty bad. And they also did have a YouTube link as well. Not a YouTube link, sorry, an external broadcast software which I use, for example, now. With OBS, a lot of you probably know about OBS, but that link wasn't actually clickable, so I couldn't stream through OBS. So I've gone back to my original plan, and that is with trading through YouTube. So what we're going to be doing is I'm going to show you how I do my watch list and my scans, and narrow it down into a list which I'm happy to day trade into the end of the day. So the end of the day is anything from 6 o'clock now, well, it's just 7 minutes past, up till the close, which is 9 PM UK time. For this, obviously I don't want to show my equity in my trading account. For anyone wondering, I do use IG markets to trade stocks. Now IG markets, the reason I trade them, the spreads isn't the greatest, but they do have spread betting available, which means that I can trade these stocks, these names, tax-free, and that's obviously a great benefit, being able to trade tax-free. Now that is, from what I know, just the UK. It's the same with foreign exchange. You can trade foreign exchange here in the UK tax-free. Now if you are in the US, I advise Think or Swim. I've used that before. That is a great platform, great interface as well. But for me, I use IG markets. So as I don't want to show the equity in my account, obviously for security reasons, what we will do is we'll just set this off, and we'll start with a paper trade, and we'll just put some equity in there. So we'll just say 100k, 100k, just so it's easy to navigate percentage gains. And this is more about learning anyway for you guys. So and what I'm also planning to do is, alongside this, is I'm going to make a spreadsheet, and the spreadsheet will be updated every single day, and you can see every trade, every ticker that I trade, and the stats of them, and a photo, so the picture of the trade before and after will be posted on that spreadsheet, and that spreadsheet will be available to everyone, so they can go through the spreadsheet of the historical trading sessions that we've done here every single day, Monday to Friday, and then you can obviously learn from that as well. You can keep a track of the stats, and also that it will be available here anyway on account history, but that's so anytime you want to go on it, you can. So we'll start with that, and I'll show you some tips and tricks as well. But what we're basically looking for here on the stocks, the US equities, and now this is the US stock market, is we're looking for end of day plays. So normally in the start, the first hour and a half of the market, you get big volatility. Now the reason for this is because people from overnight positions, maybe swing positions, or just holding overnight, that stock might move overnight. So in the morning, right from the opening bell, there could be a rush. So people either looking to get into a trade or looking to take profit on a trade. So you see a lot of volatility, back and forth movements, right at the rush. Now what you see after that kind of period is like a long consolidation period on these names, and you know, you have people going for lunch or whatever, and the volatility just dies down, and it just kind of dies out, and it's not really a time I like to trade. I like to trade either the start of the day or the end of the day, but end of the day seems really nice. It's a lot more calm and relaxed. You'll see from here it's actually not as exciting as it sounds, day trading. So you might want to switch back and forth from whatever you're doing back to here, but I will be muting my voice while we're waiting for alerts to go off, so you can literally just do that, and I'll let you know anyway when I'm going to do that, so you can do whatever. So the end of the day is we're looking for momentum from a shift, so we want to see plays that have had good momentum through the day, with good volume. That is our catalyst for an end of day play or run. So what you're looking for is, you know, like a good run, maybe a consolidation throughout the midday that I told you about then, where we do some consolidation, and we have a good nice breakout at the end of the day, in the continued trend, and just running into the liquidity and volatility. So that is the aim of the game. So the basic things here is what I want to get started is the stock screener here at the bottom left of TradingView. Now TradingView is a really good stock screener. They actually have crypto and foreign exchange as well, so it's a really good platform, and it's free, of course, so it's actually very, very handy. You know, I used to play for trade ideas and stuff like that. It could be very pricey, especially if you're starting off trading. You know, you just don't really need those outgoings, so it's actually a really good asset to TradingView this. So what I like to do is my filters, and obviously look, it's just the US market. The price, I want it to be at least $2. The change, this, I don't know what that even is. Yeah, it's just saying common stock, depository. And exchanges, these are the ones, the NYSE, ARCA and NASDAQ. They are your top three now. If you're day trading, it's important to buy these additionally on TradingView to get live real-time data. You get 15-minute delay data, which just will obviously not work. And they cost $2 each per month, so you pay an extra $6 for these live streams. I don't know why I said live streams. $6 for these live feeds on these free exchanges. Good evening, Cuboid. How you doing, sir? So make sure the price is above $2. I don't really like things that move really, really slow below $2, and obviously like penny stocks, just starting getting into penny stock zones and stuff like that. So keep it above $2. Symbol type, fine. Exchange, NYSE, ARCA, and NASDAQ. They're your three top exchanges in America. So you need to buy those for $6 for all three on an additional package. And you do that if you don't have that. I don't even know how you do that. Just, I don't really know. It will say here where this green is, it will be yellow, and it will say you're actually seeing 15-minute delayed data. So once we've got this now, what we actually want to do is put the time interval to 1 day. So this would actually show 1 day. Now if you're doing it just before 6:30, which I am doing it now, you could actually have it the last 4 hours, just like so. It's exactly the same. But we've got the last 4 hours now, because obviously the market opened at 2:30 English time. And then what you want to do is you want to put the volume to over 2 million. Now this filters out any low volume stocks, and then we're good to go. Sorry if anyone can hear a kid screaming down my road. So once we've got this platform now and everything's set up, we're ready to go and rock and roll. Now on the left I have the weekly, on the right I have the hourly, and the reason for this is we like to try and trade the voids. Here on a line chart as well, they're much easier to see. Now you can see how clear this chart looks on a line chart here on a stock. Now if you put it on, actually it's pretty clear to be fair, but you'll notice it that a lot of actual stocks are really like where the gaps are and stuff like that. They're a bit messy, so line charts for scanning is perfect for stocks, and I do much prefer it. So for example, you see when we broke above this little swing high here, basically we'll be playing for this gap as resistance here, because you've got all this little void here. Look at that sharp move down, so it gives us a nice headway to actually trade. So we'll start jumping in, and basically now what we've got is our list here. We've got over 2 million in volume, and we've got our top gainer. So anything over 3% or 2% is fine, and I'll do this both ways for both bullish and bearish scenarios, so that no matter which way the market rips, towards the end of the day, you know, you see things triggering off and your alerts triggering off, and you can start playing them. So also here I have a watch list for stocks. I'll just clear this once a night. So we'll actually just rummage through now through these stocks. So let me pull my keyboard a bit closer. I'm going to need my down arrow. So as you can see, this is a perfect example here. So your next bit of resistance is right here. And you've got a bit of support here as well. But now what you're actually doing is you're trading in this void. You can see this area here. It's just a clean area, which the price can really move nicely and freely in without any overhead resistance. So this goes straight into the watch list. You just hit the orange one and it goes into the watch list there. So that's on the watch list now. And we just scroll down and we just do this. And hopefully I can find different scenarios for you guys. One moment, guys. Sorry, my phone is going nuts. Sorry about that. So obviously other really good things are all-time highs. As you can see, look, this is why I have the weekly chart. Sometimes you don't see enough on the hourly, and you're broken above here into this void, but we do want to check on the hourly that we are in the void. Which we are. So now we had this. We'll add this as well. So now we're traveling in that void as well for MVAX, and obviously it's a biotech company. Switch that back to the hourly, and we'll just keep going. And you're just looking for price. Obviously all-time highs like this go straight in without no doubt. mRNA. It's a biotech. Obviously, I think they're looking for the COVID-19 vaccine. But it doesn't really matter about knowing about these companies. You know, you don't have to get involved in the FA. You just want to be in and out of these. You're not going to be holding these overnight. You're not going to be paying any overnight fees. And that's the benefit, especially when you're spread betting on the, like IG markets. That's when they start chipping away at you overnight and holding over the weekends. But in and out before the close, I don't like to hold. It's, you know, unpredictable. The markets overnight, I like to be in control of my trades. So mRNA obviously breaking to new highs here. Yeah, obviously slowing it down a little bit for you guys explaining this, but normally you can just whiz past this. Literally, it doesn't take long at all. After you get this initial list, obviously you can see, look, there's a lot of gainers today. SPY's been ripping, the market's been ripping overall. You know, these names are all getting hot. You know, when you're doing this, you have to actually check for the wiggle room as well. Is it really worth it? If it does break out to the overhead resistance on the hourly chart. Look, this is another great example. Look here, we break out of this area. Now we've got clean run-ins. You don't see nothing at all to this 578 mark. Straight in. And we're doing this exactly the same for the bears as well. I don't think there'll be as many bears on the watch list this evening. If anyone's got any questions, by the way, shout them in the chat. Let me know if that music's fucking annoying. If it's too loud. See here, look, we have a little bit of wiggle room. Obviously, I'll switch to the candlesticks here after. Sometimes what you actually see is obviously the line chart doesn't show wicks. It only shows open and closes. Or just shows the closes even, sorry. So, this might have wicked up and actually just been rejected, but we'll only find that out after we've done this search. And you know, some days you won't get a lot. You won't get a lot on the watch list. Some days you won't get no triggers. So I'm really hoping that's not the case today. Obviously on the first stream, we really want to find some trades to take. Sometimes you find about 6 or 7. That's just the way the cookie crumbles, and that's just the way the market plays out. It's all about having your patience, setting your alerts, doing your watch. Basically, it's just literally making your scan, running a watch list. And then setting alerts on your 5-minute charts and just waiting to execute. That's it. Oil's had a really good bump actually after that devastating month it had last month. Obviously, look here again. Nice breakout. Now we're in some clear water. While I'm doing this, how's everyone getting on? We've got the chat open. Everyone enjoying? Everyone's starting to get used to the lockdown now, or pulling their hair out? Wherever you are. You know, it's a good time to learn. This is the perfect time to live stream. I probably should have done this last month. Oh, look at that. Nasty. Good chance of a good dead cat bounce here. Obviously, looking at the range on that dump. No idea what the news is, neither do I care. Obviously, we're in earnings seasons as well, so you get a lot of good jumpers and gappers from the earnings seasons. Earnings results. Yeah, that's the live keyword. It's the live. Hey man, this really messed me up. This lockdown. I was supposed to move to Australia next month. I was gonna have a month in Bali, get a nice villa, relax for a month in the sun, chill out, and then head over to Australia. And hey, I'm stuck in London for what seems like forever knows how long. Potentially end of year, should be nice. Yeah, Brandon, thanks for your question. So that's more of like an investment term, or like a swing trading term, that question. But what we're doing is day trading. So literally you'll see us hold a trade for maybe anywhere from 5 minutes to, you know, an hour. So for us, it doesn't really matter too much about the effect of the economy. You know, like for example, that's the great thing about day trading. You just follow the market flow of that day. For example, you know, I saw a lot of people get burnt when obviously the economy and the markets crashed initially from the COVID-19. Obviously on the SPX and the Dow, you know, you see a massive crash. But for me, it didn't matter. You know, as long as we have volatility, as long as we have a nice little trend. What can I expect in the markets if companies return to? So for your questions, like more like holding overnight, if you understand what I'm saying. But for example, like when the market crashed, like a lot of people was getting burned because they had investments and swing trades and longs, and obviously we was in a great bull market. But to me, we was crashing, and you know, you see this watch list here. We had that just on the bear side, and we had really clean breakdowns. You know, a lot of big gaps, and you could just trade them. Doing day trades on those, it didn't matter whatsoever what the market was doing on a, you know, a mid-term basis or a long-term basis. You know, we had some great trades. We had a great month. And likewise, like the best thing about doing these live trading sessions now is this is potentially one of the weirdest times to be even doing this. You know, we've had a bull market for so long, it's just been easy riding. You see the crash, it's been easy riding. Now we're in like some chop. As you can see, look, we've had the big dumps and now they're kind of recovering, but we've got overhead resistance. This is like one of the weirdest times and most difficult times to be day trading stocks, but it's still, you know, just if you balance your risks, every trade we take will be 1%. That's it. And I'll show you how you can do it. And then when the market conditions get even easier, you'll be smashing it. So, IG, I'm having trouble picking the companies I want to watch. How to watch them together. So, Brandon, you can make your watch list here on TradingView, like what I'm just doing now. If you want to watch these, it's just easy. Just go to your watch list and keep an eye on them every single day. Maybe on the open, on the close, whatever time you've got. If you're looking for an investment purpose, and you can actually just right click on a level, just say you draw a line here, add an alert. You can get that sent to your phone, sent to your email. That's the best way to watch things. Like, as you can see here, look, I'm building a watch list, and then I'll be setting alerts after I build this on a 5-minute chart, and literally then I'll just relax. You can do whatever you want to do in that time. You can have a workout, you can chill out, you can learn, you can go on Twitter, and you can just wait. That's the best thing. It sounds like all really fast-paced day trading sometimes, and not even scalping, but in reality, if you plan well enough, you're literally just chilling, and you just wait for the trade to come to you. As soon as you get that alert, you flip buy, wait for the 5-minute close, get everything ready just in case it closes in your favor. As soon as that 5-minute candle closes, you're ready to execute with your stop. Oops. Well, I'm going to speed this up a little bit, because I'm dragging this out. Data, I use IG markets. The reason I use IG markets is because you can actually do spread betting on them. And spread betting in the UK is tax-free, which is obviously a huge benefit. If you're in America, I advise Think or Swim. I traded on there for a client. Great platform. When I first started learning how to trade stocks, I was trading on Thinkorswim. The platform is actually fantastic. You get it for free as well. I prefer it so much more than TradingView. And no, we're looking to play the trend, Cuboid. So anything you see here, obviously we're looking for gainers on this day. So you always want to trade with the actual trend of that day. I'm not looking for reversals. I'm looking to trade it up to the resistance, but what I'm actually just doing here is I'm looking for things. I'm looking for the room I've got, basically, essentially up to that resistance, to see if it's worth it. Now, if you've got a gap, like for example, if we broke above this price here, 10.15, you know, I'm seeing a gap up to 11.84. So all this, I'll quickly show you in here. So just say we broke above this price. Just say price was here right now, 10.26. That would be my next resistance, right? So that basic, and then we've got this void, all this void here. Look at that sharp move down, no real resistance. So that just gives me like a nice gap to trade in and day trading, with no overhead resistance on the hourly. So this is that's what I'm currently doing, and I'll do the same on the bearish side as well. It seems like we have a very bullish tape today. So like I said, also I'll be setting up a spreadsheet open to everyone, so anyone can click on it anytime and view the spreadsheet, and we'll have every single day's results on there. What the ticker was, so the ticker is obviously just the name, so this is JD Sports, or JD, oh no, it's not JD Sports, oh, it is JD Sports, JD Sports. And then what we'll actually do is they will have the picture of the trade as well afterwards, with the profit and loss. Like I said, obviously for security purposes, won't be showing my IG account's balance, so we'll just use this tool here on the trading view. You can just work out the percentages, but you can copy it or whatever you want to do on your trading account. Data Kustov, yes, that's the great thing about IG. Now, I don't know, is IG the greatest one? I don't know, but it's one that I just kind of really like the platform. And the spreads, they're not greatest, obviously being a spread betting account, but you know, it's much better than paying tax. That's one thing for sure. In the UK, obviously spread betting is tax free in the UK. Also, I know Interactive Brokers is a really good platform as well. Now, the thing with IG markets is, obviously you can see these prices here. Because it's spread betting, they're just priced in a little different. So, for example, here, I'll show you one. So, for example, here, look, you see it's 9.98. So that's $9.98 a share. On IG markets, we show it as 998. So they removed the decimal place. So you just make sure you look out for that, and obviously. So for example here, obviously we see this resistance here. We want to break this high at the 24.76, but I can actually look into that when we go into the 5-minute chart and set that alert. So this is why I do the weekly chart, just to make sure I scroll left. Obviously, look, we're at all-time highs here. Work them down. This is actually going a bit slower. I really need to push this PC. Is the sensitivity of my mic really, really loud, guys? Or is it okay? I can adjust it a bit. So yeah, obviously I've got the streaming software open on YouTube as well when I'm doing this, so it's not as sharp as it normally is, this computer. We'll check. So like I said, make sure your volume on this scanner is over 2 million. The three exchanges, NYSE, ARCA and the NASDAQ. You do need to buy real-time data. Now on some platforms like, for example, IG Markets or Think or Swim, with a live account you do get free data. TradingView is a money-making machine though. So but it's only $6. Definitely worth it per month to get that live data. So a random fact, in the UK they've actually started to allow a couple of sports open again. I think tennis was one, and golf, which I'm a huge fan of golf. So I've been actually looking for a course to go and play. Golf courses are fully booked, the majority of them. A bunch of my favourite courses here, fully booked for the next 3 weeks. So it doesn't look like I'll be getting out anytime soon. Breaking new all-time highs here, Temus, so look, that goes straight in. T-Mobile, it's not been too sad really. Obviously there's been a lot of money from quantitative easing being propped into this market, but we do have a lot of names holding up this market, and they're like the internet retails. For example, Amazon, a lot of people now ordering online due to being in lockdown, really booming. It's a booming stock. Same as Zoom, ZM is the ticker. Obviously that's the internet meeting software. A lot of companies been using it now to hold meetings for their workplace interactively and remotely from home, so that's actually been booming. I took a bit of a dive due to apparent security fears. Obviously now I have to move this to 1 day because the 4-hour gaps have been closed from 2:30 till 6:30, so now I need to search for a day. And what I'm actually going to do is, now I've got a list, I'm going to switch to below zero. So now this is just literally finding bearish scenarios just in case the market dumps end of day. Starting to break all-time lows. It's an ETF. ETFs are not my favoured shorts or longs, to be honest. I prefer actually just to trade the direct stock, not an ETF. But hey ho. Wayfair. Seems like they had quite a good push here on internet sales, but actually just correcting a bit. Another ETF. A lot of ETFs here, as you can see. Now, when you're shorting stocks, not every exchange has the borrows. Some might have borrows that others doesn't, and some may have more than others. And what this basically means is that a lot of stocks, if you want to short, you actually have to request to get the shorts, and now your broker will actually get the shorts to you. If not, you can't short it. So that is why the longs are favoured. You have no problem longing any stock. Shorting can sometimes be a problem. ETFs, never normally no problems with them. Nearly there. Now, normally I would have done this, but by 10 past 6, I normally like to have this done quite quickly and get all my alerts in. Obviously, explaining is taking a little bit longer, so we'll probably get a couple of hours of potential trades. A lot of ETFs on the short list today. Not favourable, but nonetheless an opportunity. Right, I'm going to call it at that. So now what we want to do is switch this to the 5-minute chart. And switch to a candlestick. And now you want two EMAs, the 9 and the 20, and the VWAP. The VWAP is the volume weighted average price. And what we want to do now is really just dive in and get our 5-minute charts and settings ready. So what we like to do is we're looking for a high of day or a low of day break. So for example, this is the high of day, and then what we do is we set alerts. Now we don't buy on a 2-tap. What we want to see is another tap and then some kind of coil. Now the coil will give us energy for a breakout, and that's what we need. So for example here, this is kind of setting up quite nice. Tap into it will be nice, and then just really just hold, go a bit sideways, have the EMA press up against the price from below as support against this resistance. Now that really, the EMA will kind of act as a trend line, for example. So if you're pressed here and you're really called in tight, it's either one way or the other. As soon as you buy the break, as soon as it breaks, you buy the breakout. So I'll show you more as well. I've got some examples from my actual journal that I can send. Perfect examples, and I can also tell you what not to look for as well. So for example here, you see this breakout, but it took like quite a big, well, not a big dive, it's really not that much, but you really want to hold this EMA and you really want to get tight and coiled, and they give out the best breakouts. Now for example here, we're not trading these kind of like flags or whatever, but you can see how the EMA really holds it and it rides the EMA, and then you create this like, to see if like it's one way or the other, and then you get the breakout, you get a nice breakout. You want the coil in, and it's the same thing here. Look, you see here like with the 20 EMA as well, look, it really coils in really tight, and then it's like basically the EMAs draw the trend line for you, and then you get the breakout. Similar to that, but not as great. This is a perfect example. of what we're actually looking for, like a really tight consolidation, and then the breakout. So you want it to be quite tight, and the longer the better as well. The longer the consolidation, normally the better the breakout. That's not looking like a tradable. But what you can actually see here is when you get these gaps and a gapper, you can actually trade these in a reverse way for a short. Good. So you can see here, this is a good example actually. You see this breakout, you see how tight that gets. You know, it taps up, and then it gets really tight, and then it breaks out here. You would buy here, and your stop always goes below the swing low. So, you know, it nearly would have stopped it out. And now the reason for this is, I see a lot of people putting their stops really, really close. Like short, just below the support level. Now that's fine if you've got a bit of consolidation right before you break out, but here this is the last swing low, so your liquidity is actually here. So what actually happens is if you have your stop too tight, you know, you get stopped out, price takes the liquidity with the wick there on a sweep, and then it just goes back above, and you've been stopped out, and the price has got to run away without you. So that's actually the proper way of trading breakouts. And I see a lot of people trying to get them really, really tight. But you know, it's called stop gunning. They'll come for your stops, no question of a doubt. It gets very, very obvious at times where people's stops are going to be. And this is a game of liquidity. So, for example, now this is a really good trade, right? If this 5 minute, you can see the way it's been carrying this 9 EMA, and you've got to this all-time high, and you've got like a tap, tap, tap. If this closes above this white line, this is the trade to take. So the trade will be obviously wherever it goes, stop below that swing low. You know, don't try and get too greedy with this. And then you can see there's no overhead resistance, so it has got a good chance of running. And you'll see that the targets, I'll just put the target here, but I'll actually scale out and trail my stops. So we'll come back to that in, what, we've got 30 seconds. So we'll just wait with this one for a second. You can get it set up, market buy, market in. Is that me or that's really bad? 1% risk. This is a great tool, by the way, for anyone trading. You can always just put in whatever risk you want, 1%, 2%, and it will tell you how many, like whatever your stop price is and whatever your take profit is, and it will tell you how many shares you can actually buy for your 1% risk. So obviously, with the £100,000 account, we've got. So we're just trading that. You know, you'll have winners, you'll have losers. Some days you'll lose 2%, some days you lose 4%, some days you'll make 10%. What's the red line? The red line is the VWAP, so the VWAP is the volume weighted average price. As you can see, look, this was like a really good one. If I got the trades done earlier, see how like this last little consolidation candle beforehand. So you got the 1 tap, the 2 tap, and then the EMA really holds the candle. And look, the red candle just before you break out. So basically, this trade would have been you buy on that breakout, your stop just below that swing high. You know, there would have been 1.39. You could scale out, hold a bit, trail up your stop, whatever. This one's kind of looking quite good. So basically what happens now is if we just, you know, take a little bit of a pullback and wrap around this EMA and it really holds it and then breaks out. So this is a whole day's consolidation, so this is pretty good. If it broke out now, would I buy it? No, because the stop's too wide down here. You want to see a nice little coil here, gain some energy and then break out. You set the alert anyway. Check how our position's doing. Still not in the green. That is absolutely ugly, that CX. And that is ugly as well, the CRK. See, for example, here. This is what I'm talking about. Just a little tap. And then look, you see it just riding this EMA and then you get the breakout here. That would be your long stop just below. And that would have been a really good trade as well. Is it after 6 o'clock? Yeah, it is just on the 6 o'clock mark, so we would have taken that. DraftKings has actually been trading pretty ugly. Same with here, look, I've just missed this one as well from the explanations. But you can see, look, just the 9 EMA riding it down. You get this one little bounce here off support and then the breakdown. In fact, you know, now, I don't really like trading ETFs, to be honest. You're essentially trading a bunch of companies. I can tell you now that's something I'm not going to be trading. So these are our 2 positions open now, and what we do is we just sit back, wait for the alerts. Like I said, it's not that fun. It sounds a lot more fun than it actually should be. But we've got 2 positions open right now. Wait, hold on. So just leave those open and see how they get on. And we'll chill and wait for some alerts. Right guys, I'm going to mute the mic. If you've got any more questions, shout them in the chat. And I'll try and answer them as quickly as possible. So you can see with the breakout here with Billy, like I said, we was hoping for it just to actually do a bit of consolidation here and regain some energy before breaking out. It didn't actually quite do that. So you know, we've just passed the trade. It was a nice breakout. It's been an all-day consolidation, but as you can see that it was two candles up. It's quite a big candle. Would have preferred to see it reconsolidate and then break out, just like we saw here. You see this little sideways consolidation. Now the market's very bullish. But the same with XRK as XRX. Sorry, yeah, XRX as well. You can see this tight consolidation with the break. And, you know, we'll just sell off some, just a tiny amount. We've got 7,000. You know, book some profits on the way. Sell off a little bit. Yeah, so Cuboid, sorry, yeah, I explained it right at the start. I don't think many people was even viewing at that time, so I'll go over it again. So you have three parts of a trading day in US equities. You have the open, you have the middle, and then you have the end of day. Now the two best times to trade for day trading is the morning and the end of day. And now the reasoning for this is the open, obviously there's the trade, you know, people hold trades overnight which they can't have control of. So as soon as the market opens, people rush to cover, like either enter a trade or you know, you might have news overnight which someone was long on, that's really sent it with a big gap high, and you know, they want to take profits. So so there's a lot of volatility in the morning where people try to open and cover their positions, and then you have this really quiet period of consolidation throughout the day, sideways movement. You know, the volatility and liquidity just kind of dies down during the middle, and then at the end of the day you will have like the things that are like having an end of day push, and then you get the volatility of people trying to day trade back into the end of the day, and then obviously try to get in positions, tactically get into positions for swing positions, maybe potentially. So that's the reason people trade at the start and the end of the day. I have no business trading during the middle of the day on US equities. It's either right at the start, as you can see, you know, you get a big sharp push, and then you get like this action. To be fair, the next 2 hours is just kind of like a bit of a pullback. Look, for example, 420, so that's like a couple of hours. You've had a couple of hours in the morning, you just had this kind of wayward action, and then from 6 o'clock, boom, you're starting to trend again. Sorry, I had to take my phone. And then you start trending again. Obviously here on XRK, you've just had an all-day trend, which has been quite good, to be fair. It's just a nice all-day trend, but you see from the open, especially, that you just get these trades. It's not always like that. If you actually look at it over multiple stocks and you do analysis over a long, lengthy amount of time, you'll just actually see more like this. So I don't have no business trading in the middle. You can trade it at the open, and then you can do whatever. You can take some time, you can have a nap. I know a lot of traders, my mentor that taught me He traded the open for an hour, and he would literally go for a nap. He lived on the beach as well. He had a beach house, so you know he would go. He lives in Florida. He'll go on the beach, have a workout, have a swim, come back, cook some lunch, and then he'll trade the end of the day. So that's the reasoning. End of the day is just a lot more nicer to trade. Obviously, you can do a lot more planning like I've done. At the start of the day, it's really as soon as the market opens, you start doing your watch list with like 15-minute time gaps, and you have to be really quick with a 2-minute chart. Now, at the end of the day, you can actually have a really nice plan. You can take your time. You can set things up, set alerts, and it's just not as hectic. So these candles here, when you start getting these kind of candles, you want to take some profit, you know. We've got 507, you know, take off 207 into that dump. Pay yourself, always pay yourself. And now we've actually created a new swing higher on the 5 minutes, so we can actually just trail down our stop a little bit, lower our risk. So now this don't look too sad, to be fair, on XRK. Now XRK, I don't really check the volume too much, but as you can see, the breakout candle actually had a nice little breakout. And now what you want to see, I don't take too much notice to this, to be honest, but when you do have a pullback, you want to have lower in volume. This means that a lot of people aren't really selling into it. There's not a huge amount of profit taking. We'll see, but you know, I don't dig too much into volume, to be fair. I know people are really religious about it. I'm gonna book a little bit more profit here, an extra 100, and I'm just gonna move my stop down to break even, take any risk off the table with that. So you can see, booking some profits. And hopefully this is just a little pullback back to the breakout support level. We'll see. See how. So the trailer's just hit for W. Should have probably just put it just a bit higher there. But, you know, always pay yourself. Now this is a little bit random, but for anyone that doesn't really like the toolbar, if you have Google Chrome, there's an app, Google Chrome extension called Pop-Up, and what you can actually do is click that and it just removes the tabs and it just puts it on its own page just so it looks a little cleaner. Marius, this one, if you just type in hip hop in YouTube, it's not copyrighted, so you don't get kicked off or strikes off YouTube. Some chill beats. As you can see, look, this is starting to go further into a loss. It seems like the market's actually starting to roll over a bit and sell off. As you can see from the the majority of these setups, you're starting to set off a little bit. Wasn't a great close, obviously. Look, more of a fake out. I'm probably expecting to get stopped on this one. And there you go, the stoppage on XRK. We're down a little tiny bit. Gains from W been wiped out, as you can see. Not to worry. Part of the game. We've got our alerts going. We've got an hour and 45 minutes left on the market. And we've got another 4 days of the week. 12 days of the month, and plenty more months in the year. You just got to be very repetitive, almost like a robot, no emotions. Trade every setup you see. I remember, what was it? Start of last month, I want to say. I can get the exact day up for my journal. It was a 10% day, literally. The market was just in bull mode, and everything was just setting up perfectly like this, and just absolutely ripping. And I was just trailing my stop, and they weren't cooling down. You get huge days sometimes, and then all it's about is managing your risk. You know, look, we've had our risk. You know, you take a 1% loss, that's it. Move on to the next one. You know, from the start of February, you know, it's been 72% gain on the account. So it's been a couple of very good couple of months. You just got to stick to it. Keep doing what you're doing. You know, don't get emotionally attached to either your wins or your losses. It's the main part about trading. Trading.
From philosophy into science. That's knowledge advanced. That's knowledge advanced.
So as the market's rolling over as well, look, now we have these gaps in these markets as well from the gaps that we presented from the open. So now we can set alerts here as well. Just in case we get those breakdowns on the market flip. This one, I'm pretty gutted that was actually rolling over through the scan a bit later than we normally do from explanations. This looks like a beautiful trade. Obviously that would have been the long there with the stop just below. Really tight entries. These are the perfect trades when you get these sideways consolidations, super tight with the EMA pressed. You know, from this bit here, we could have just tried our stop here now. Would have taken some profit on the way. We missed a great opportunity on that one. Thank you, Michael. It's just some chilled out music. So as you can see, literally day trading seems like really chaotic and stuff like that. It was really nice, just about planning, especially end of the day. We've got our watch list. We've got our alerts set. Let me just wait. Yo, what's up, Doriano? How's it going, mate? I'm all good, thanks, mate. And just we've got our alert set. We're just waiting to see if we can trigger some setups. Yeah, we had a couple of alerts that did actually trigger, but you know, I'm not too excited for them. As you can see, what we were saying about, we're kind of more looking like this. Obviously, the market just rolled over a bit. But these are the kind of setups we want. Really tight consolidations before the breakout. With, as you can see, look, 2 candles sideways before the break. Where this is kind of like, look, we had a 3 candle run up prior to breaking. So it's not favourable. They're not really the greater ones that I like to trade. I like to trade the ones that have a really tight breakout. So obviously now, right here, for example, if we like a little pullback, so for example, you know, such a something sideways down to here, and really had the EMA holding that, then that would be the breakout we kind of bought. But now if this broke out from here, for example, we're not really doing any trades for that. You've had a bit of an exhausted run up, albeit it's not a huge run up, but you really want to energize and create some energy for that breakout just by consolidating right below it. For example, on the W trade we took, look, you can see here, you see this like just consolidation building and a 9 EMA coming a bit closer and then it trapping it and it breaks down. By the way, look at our exits here. That's the benefit about taking profits, you know. It wasn't a home run by any means, but the market started reversing, and W actually started getting a bit of a buy after all this move as well. Especially look how down it is for the day. It's not like it had a down and then a sideways move and then a big down again. It's just been down all day. So you know, a reversal is kind of on the cards for it. That's why you take your profits and book. If it was more up, sideways, up, you know, for example, the loss we took on XRX, then you know we could have held this for a bit longer. As you can see, look, it was up, sideways, and then up. So yeah, you know, alerts might go off, but that doesn't necessarily mean a trade for us. We have to have our plans. Good boy. So hopefully right here, what we actually see is, you know, just a couple of candle pullback into that 9 EMA, get really tight, and then we break out. This could be a really nice trade into the end of the day. Been consolidated all day, so these normally are the best breakers. Remember, the longer the consolidation, the better the break. So that's a good start there. Hopefully one more, get this 9 EMA up, break out, and that could be a nice run. We've still got an hour and 15. I don't like to take any trades, you know, after 8:30, just because you just don't give them enough time with 30 minutes to close to actually do their thing. So hopefully we can get this in the next, like, just before 8 PM in the UK, and give it a good hour to run. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on OVV. Yeah, Duriano, no problem. Yeah, so we're trading the breakout, the close of the breakout. And we done a scan. We went through the scan as well of how to get this watch list together. It's just basically volume over 2 million over the last 4 hours. And we look for the most up on the day, so obviously 3% and above for the day. And we're trading the last 3 hours breakouts, nice consolidations. And we just trade the break. You know, we'd like to see some consolidation before. We took a win on XRX. We took a loss here, obviously tight consolidation. Things started to roll over, a little pullback in the SPY. And then we took a win on W. It was quite a quick trade. Obviously, you can just see this consolidation really, really tight here. Pressed against the 9 EMA, and we ended up breaking down. We shorted here, as you can see, a bit on the pullback. That's only because I was actually running through some things. Probably helped me out a little bit. And then we just sold off into this. So this is what we're doing for today. Tiny bit down. Gave back our gains. But nonetheless, we still got just over an hour and 10 minutes. No, yeah. So Giuliano, we went through this. Obviously, you dropped in a bit late, but we done a scan first, and the scan's basically done on weekly and the hourly time frame. So once we do that, basically what we're just looking for, the green boxes are overhead resistance. So what we're looking for is the space for an overhead resistance. So as you can see on the hourly, if we grab the line chart, can you see how we've got these gaps here in the market, just huge drop-offs. If I actually take these away, so what we're doing is here, this come up on our long scan, we're looking for the next resistance on the hourlies all the way up here. So we've got this huge void that we can trade into for longs. This was, I believe, was this an all-time high? That's an all-time high. The all-time high again. So they have high time relevance, these green ones, these green markers. If you see, look, there's a gap here. And then what we do is we come down to the 5 and we go into the candlesticks, and then we put our EMAs and our VWAPs on, and then the new lines were drawn afterwards. The yellow lines and the red boxes, they're all drawn on afterwards. So this yellow line was actually drawn on a 5-minute chart. Obviously, if we break out here, this is working quite nice. Hopefully we get a breakout on this. This will be quite a nice trade. A nice bit of consolidation here, if we can break out. So we have the one hour and the weekly time frame relevance to make sure we've got gaps in the market. So we've got clean runs for the 5 minutes to actually run into, and then we actually execute on the 5 minute from breaking high of days or lower days. So in this case, it would be the high of day. For example, this W trade that we took. You know, look, we've just got this gap. We've just got this gap here all the way down to this support level. So we've got room to fall into. There's nothing stopping us in our routes. So we're keeping an eye. Now guys, this is also quite important. So for example here, look, we're breaking out quite nicely now. This is perfect. But just say we SFP'd this level here and still closed above this green line, but will not take it. This candle now has to close above this level. If it closes above the green, if it closes above the yellow, it has to close above that white as well. So for example here will be perfect if it closed like that. You know, our stop will go just below. Hey DW, thanks for tuning in, man. Appreciate it. No, these are completely different. I trade breakouts on US Equities on the 5-minute charts. On, for example, crypto and foreign exchange, I use different. I use Kasimodo strategies on these ones, which I post plenty of content about the Kasimodo, and for people that have bought the course on the Kasimodo as well. And in the chat room, we explain Kasimodos and SFP, bearish divergence and bullish divergence trades at key supply and demand zones. But with US equities, we just try to rip and ride quick profits, so that's why we use the breakout trading. Right, so OVV did want to play there. Probably a little bit too extended on the 15. Cuboid, Flash Crash. No, I'm guessing that's about the 2008 story though. Dudes, this was the one today. This was the play. STNE. We missed the biggie. I mean, these are the kind of trades that really bank you the money. Look, you know, if you took the long there, stop just below. No, scale out. Look, there's 2% gain. Scale out. You know, you could try your stop below these. These are the ones. Unfortunately, we missed that one today. Oh yeah, I have heard about that story actually. There's some really good Chat with Traders podcasts. There's one Sang Lucci is a stock trader. He's pretty good. He moved to Panama now for tax purposes. But he basically just trades options and literally just trades using the level 2, like the order book, rather than actual charts. Which for some does make sense. There's also some I forgot what his name was. Sang Lucci done a podcast with a guy that's actually checks like they're called dark pools. And that was a pretty interesting podcast. Billy was a really nice trade. You know. Yeah, cuboid. It doesn't make any sense to me either. You know, it's exactly the same information that we're looking at, really. You know, the order books, whatever happens in the order books, it's just being printed in a candlestick version or a line chart version. So I'm running out a bit of time today. Obviously waiting for some stuff to set up, but that'll put us past, you know, really the threshold for wanting to get into a trade to allow enough time for a trade to play out. For example, this obviously look, with 2 taps here, this would need to hit resistance, then base out again, and then break, and we just wouldn't have enough time before the close to let that play out. Fake out on a couple of trades today, not to worry. It's Monday. You can see his SPY alerts really coincided with what happened with our trade. Just, you know, look, faked out and reversed. But that is like literally textbook play here. You see this grind higher, nice consolidation here on the 15-minute chart as well. Look, nice little pullback, just going sideways. 90 EMA catches up and just gives it that push through. It's a perfect trade. Low risk, high reward. But the positives to take today, we've got the YouTubes out finally. It seems to be running smoothly. I'm actually going to try and add some stuff to make this viewing actually a little bit better. Maybe just an edge or something. We'll work on it. So for example, TPR here, what we really wanted was a sideways consolidation. Really get that 90 EMA wrapped in. You know, it still could happen, but like I said, by the time you do this, potentially run out of time. As you can see, look, the breakout here was 1, 2. You got like 3 candles pushing it, well, including this one if you wanted to as well. You got 4 candles pushing into that breakout. And you know, you're just not as effective. And this was what I was saying about, for example, you know, like how we put our stop above this candle here. It's just literally because if this did just bounce straight from here, you know, you could just actually sweep that, just like how you done here. As you can see, this breakdown, we took the sideways candle. You actually just sweeped it here and it sold back off. So instead of putting a stop close and tight like this, which you would have got stopped on, you just put it above that last little swing. You know, look, that looks alright, but You just had this extended run up, and you would want that to base for about 15 minutes. This is still teasing above, right below this resistance. You see, look, it just sweeped that little swing low that we put in before the break. Maybe it was just a little bit too tight. If it does pop here and closes before or in the next few minutes, I will re-enter. If not, it looks like that'll be all the trades for today. Just set a little alert. What a chart. Cheers for streaming in, Q-Boy, man. Appreciate you. Have a good evening. So, unless we can close above this white line, you know, in the next minute and 20 seconds, that'll be us for the day. Just because we're running past the threshold time, which allows things to actually move. But we'll get our order ready just in case. Just in case we can close above here. Potentially get a run for a good 20 minutes. It looks like we got swept on the stop with a stop too tight, which happens sometimes. It is what it is. Okay, we're back in. And then we'll give this one a 20 minutes to play out. See what happens. See if we get stopped or not. See if we can get a good push here into the close. Just with that kind of candle, we're just going to move the stop to break even. We're playing with a free trade now. If it runs, it runs. Especially coming into the end of the day like this, with not as much time to run. We just want to try and minimize as much risk as possible. Okay, guys, we've got stopped off on that one. A little bit too tight, probably pump as well. So messed me around today, OVV. Just with that sweep stop there, probably too tight. We're past the threshold time now. Obviously, 20 minutes left. It's not going to allow anything to play out. So we're actually going to call it quits there. Down 1% for the day. Not too bad at all. We can catch that back plus a few more percent tomorrow. We've still got 4 more days of the week. It's only Monday. So thanks everyone for tuning in. I really appreciate you guys for coming and watching. And I'll be back at the same time tomorrow, 6 PM till 9 PM. And hopefully we'll get some better luck tomorrow.